Prime Minister's office announcing that Mark Carney will travel to Rome on Friday to attend the inauguration of Pope Leo. The Prime Minister's office also saying the PM will use this visit to reconnect with international leaders.
All right, and this comes a day after Carney promised to lead with urgency as he announced his new cabinet, but not everybody is happy with the selections. Here's Alberta Premier Danielle Smith posting this to social media after Julie Dabrusin was named Environment Minister. The Alberta Premier saying, quote, "I am concerned the Prime Minister has appointed what appears to be yet another anti-oil and gas environment minister. She is a staunch advocate against oil sands expansion and proponent of phasing out oil and gas."
All right, for more on all of this, let's bring in Global's chief political correspondent, David Akin, who joins us from Ottawa. All right, David, Carney campaigned on a promise to be different from the Trudeau government. Does the new cabinet reflect that change?
Well, good morning, guys. I think the Prime Minister himself was trying to make that point yesterday after he appeared after the swearing-in ceremony, came out of Rideau Hall. He's going to try to prove that point with some math. And here's the math. The size of the ministry, and we're going to be using this term ministry to refer to ministers, but also the secretaries of state. This Secretary of State position is something we really haven't seen in federal politics since the early Stephen Harper years, way back in 06, 07. So ministers and secretaries of state, that makes up the ministry. There's 38 people in Mark Carney's ministry, and he says 23 of those 38, they're all fresh faces. They're people like Julie Dabrusin, who've never been in cabinet before. So, it's a little, we got some experience, but we mostly got new faces. That's Mark Carney's point. Pierre Poilievre, who we have to refer to as the Conservative leader, not the leader of the opposition, because you need a seat in the House of Commons to be the leader of the opposition, and he doesn't have one. Pierre Poilievre came out yesterday and he said, don't look at that math. Look at the senior people around Carney. People like Chrystia Freeland, people like Melanie Joly, people like Sean Fraser. They are all closely associated with Justin Trudeau. Freeland, of course, was essentially the first person Trudeau recruited way back in 2014. So that is the point that Poilievre makes is Canada did want change, but this cabinet does not represent change. So it's going to be, I guess, in the eye of the beholder. Do you take Carney's point, the math, or do you take Poilievre's point and look at the people who are the most senior in cabinet?
All right, David, the other big ballot issue from the election, of course, was undoubtedly Donald Trump and the threat from the U.S. We were just talking about off the top of the show, Mark Carney making some news this morning saying that Canadians were not impressed by this second state visit offered by Buckingham Palace. So how did Carney's cabinet, his new cabinet, how did he shape it to deal with Donald Trump and this looming threat?
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first Canadian PM in our history to tut-tut a bit at the monarch in Britain. They don't always align there. But nonetheless, on the Canada-U.S. file, the key person is Dominic LeBlanc. He, too, Trudeau appointee, he's one of Trudeau's best friends, but he is the point man on dealing with the White House. LeBlanc woke up yesterday morning as the Minister of International Trade, among other things, and he went to bed as the Minister of Canada-U.S. trade, sort of putting a bit of a point on things. So LeBlanc is the key person there, but we have a new foreign affairs minister. I mentioned Melanie Joly. She'd been the foreign affairs minister for a long time. She moves over to become the industry minister, and that's an economic portfolio that I think she had been looking for quite a while. So Melanie Joly, industry minister. The new foreign affairs minister is Anita Anand from Oakville, Ontario. She, too, has been in cabinet since 2015, held a lot of jobs. So it's Dominic LeBlanc, Anita Anand, sort of the 1-2 punch on that front. But then on our defense and security ministers, changes there too. David McGuinty is the new Minister of National Defense. He replaces Bill Blair, who's out of cabinet completely. McGuinty had been the Minister of Public Safety and was on that couch in the White House in the Oval Office last week with Carney as the Minister of Public Safety in charge of our borders. But he becomes Defense Minister now. And in charge of the borders as the new Minister of Public Safety is a Scarborough, Ontario MP, also a former Trudeau cabinet minister, Gary Anandasangari. So that is the group of four, Anandasangari, Anand, LeBlanc, and McGuinty, who are really going to be focused 100% on the Canada-U.S. relationship and the White House.
And we will be focused on the job they do. David, thank you so much.